And what's happening, all people on the other side of the internet over there? What's going on, everyone? Hope everybody is doing good on this fine Wednesday. Hope everybody hears me okay. I've got a fan on me, so if you hear any extra noise, let me know. But what is up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Um, Started on here. What's up, Mr. Slap Nuts? How you doing, dude? Glad to see you here. So let's get started. As you can see, that is my name. That's me. Got my website up there. That's where you can contact me for any of your RC stuff as far as like figuring out how things work, or if you're interested in burners or interested in the Gooniac stacks or interested in any of that stuff. Contact me there. Take a look in the description. You get to see how to subscribe to the channel as a member, how to contact me through the website, and how to become a member of the site. I think I already said that. And how to contribute with PayPal if you feel like it. None of that's required. But if it's there and you guys feel like it, feel free to do so. But that's my website right there. And that's all the stuff I do. I make burners. But most of all, I like RC planes and fly RC planes a lot. So, anyway, check it out. Very much appreciated if you do join. And speaking of which, let's get to the shout outs at the moment. Seems like people were got in here early. Um, so let me get back up there and check out everybody and see what everybody was saying up there to begin with, because people started chatting pretty early as I was sitting back watching TV, trying to relax a little bit. Since this has been a crazy couple weeks at work, so been busy doing lots of stuff. But yeah, so let's get started. Mr. Mike SSI, who is a member, I think he was the very first member of the channel. So Mike SSI, what is happening? Thank you for being here. Mr. Mike Bird from clear across the pond over there in the UK, what is up? He's here too. Shadow Ops, who is another member, thank you very much. He is here. Hope you had a good trip with the wife last time there, Mr. Shadow. Pete Lane, my good friend local here, and I wanted to show you guys something that Pete was cool enough to do for me. He took a picture with me and my Viper and put it on a frame and all that stuff. So thank you, Pete. That's cool of you to do that. Got a cool picture of me to frame and do something with, so you can see my big old fat gut. But thank you for the picture, Pete. Mr. Slapnuts, what's happening, Spencer? How you doing? Um, Paul McNeil, what is happening? Mr. Juan, Smokey De La Garza, a customer of mine. Thank you for being here, Juan. We've been talking all week. We're going to show something off at Juan will be the first person to receive, but I'm going to show something off here in a little bit. Some of the new products. That's what's going to be happening on the show. I'll tell you guys about what's happening on the show here in a little bit after we go through all this. So who else? We got Mr. Snow River, who's also a member. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, Snow River. What is up? Um, who else? Med Scott. He's here. What's up, Med Scott? Um, Pops 305. Jeff Larney, your stuff's on the way. Ethan RC, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Ethan? How you doing? Um, who else? Lionel Randall, who is another member. Thank you for being here, Mr. Lionel Randall. What is up, Jeff in Lower Alabama? Hope you enjoyed your trip. I don't know if you're back home yet, but hope you enjoyed yourself on your trip. Mr. Victor RC Jets, who is another member. What's up, Victor? JCB67, what is happening? And I think that is pretty much it for now. But those of you that keep popping in, I'm gonna say something to y'all because I appreciate you guys coming and spending your evening with me. It's very late for you guys over on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast here, so I try to do things after I'm done with work and done with some stuff I need to do. That's why I moved the shows to Wednesday, because it helps me out quite a bit. Because Mondays tend to be pretty busy. But so let's get to the other part of the show, which is questions. Another thing too, I don't know if you guys noticed, I do have the merchandise back up. So if you're interested and want to support the channel in another way, that is another way to do it. Again, not required, but if you want to, and you want to have some stuff to show off that not many people have, go right on ahead. Um, but it's in that in the description, because I didn't say that part in the beginning, but it's in the description if you are interested. But yeah, so start with the questions, guys, and while we're waiting for that, I can explain that what the show is going to be about today. I think I already said in the beginning, but I'm going to be doing, back by popular demand, fan balancing of a 50 millimeter, the 50 millimeter fan for the Hobby King F-16, the 50 millimeter. So I'm going to do that balance. I've got that set up. Then also I'm going to show off some of the new products I've got going. Juan de la Garza, he's got his he's wants to see some stuff that I'm putting together for him. So I got something similar to what it is that he's going to do. I might even get to show you guys this thing. I don't know if I'll pull it out. I started working on this. I've got Gooniac stacks set up for this thing. So we'll see. But if y'all got questions, now's the time. So Ethan, I see, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen you. You used to have a show, but I don't see you on the show no more. But cool to see he's still working on stuff. Be sure to let us know if you get that thing together and going. But cool, good to see you, Ethan. And Paul McNeil, no, nothing really. I mean, I got a good shot of the of a C-130 coming in, but I didn't post it. Usually when the C-130s come in, they're right overhead, and all I can see is the underside. But this one came in turning, and was able to see the side and the markings and insignia and all that. So I might post that, but I've got so many videos of airplanes flying over. The good news is the F-35 squadron is back in town, meaning back at Lemoore, and so are the F-18s, and we're going to be having lots of flyovers for the football games coming up. So we might be able to see lots more of the new F-35Cs coming through for the football game. The San Francisco 49ers Stadium, Levi Stadium, is a matter of like, what, 3 miles away from me as the crow flies. Longer on the street, but I get to hear everything from there. And whenever there's a flyover, if it's the Navy, they'll fly over the stadium first, then turn around and come back and land and fly right over me. They usually take off from here and then go back out too. So get to see some cool stuff. But let's see. So this is what we will be going over today, Mr. MC Redtail Flyer. We'll go over that. But with the twin, a lot of times if there's resonance, it's because the fans are not synced. And that's usually a matter of getting the ESC's throttle range set. Sometimes you have to do them one at a time, but you set the throttle range on the radio. Sometimes it requires unplugging one and doing it with one and then the other. Or you can sometimes do both at the same time. But that'll do it, and then also if they're out of balance. So the one part you can do easily, and that is the sync, what do you call it? The throttle range. You can set the throttle range pretty quick. It's a matter of minutes. Sometimes they don't initialize at the same time, so it's hard to get them to do things exactly the same. But a lot of times you plug in the plane. Well, actually, no, sorry. So to set throttle range, this is what you do. Turn on your radio first. Set your radio down. Make sure your throttle trim is in the center. Radio's on, initialize all that. Turn your throttle all the way up and leave it there. Plug in your plane. Wait to hear a couple beeps. This all happens within like 3 to 5 seconds. Plug it in, wait to hear a couple beeps, deet deet, and then lower the throttle all the way, and then it'll go through and finish the initialization. You just got to make sure that both of the ESCs do it at the same time, if it's a twin. But almost always it's something being out of balance, or just the throttle range not being set. Once you do that, everything will work the same. So, good question. Anyway, keep going. What's up with the questions, y'all? Ask more questions, ask away, and then we'll get started on the balancing. I've got everything set up over there, and I'll show off a couple of the other. Actually, I'll show off the burner stuff I've got going first, But like I said, I've got the Miss America racer from FMS, and earlier Pete was mentioning the 8% off thing. Sorry for the wind. Um, I got this on the 8% off sale. This is before they just reintroduced it, but it was actually a pretty good amount off. What's up, the Fred Barron? What's happening? So that is a good sale to go through with them. Go check out their stuff because everything's most things are in stock, and if they're in stock, it's here in the U.S. You can get it within a matter of days. Totally worth it. No tax, no shipping. Even if the prices have increased a little bit, which they have, totally worth it. I got 3 planes from there. The plane that was on the screen for the opening of the show was the FMS F-16 V2, and I got that through FMS through Fair RC. I think I had what do you call it, rewards on that one, so I got money off that way. It's totally worth it. Fair RC is cool. If you want something shipped here quickly and something FMS, that's the best place to go because they are pretty much FMS Direct, just with a slightly different name. But FMS Direct is coming back, and they're stocking up. So I think they're. I don't know how it's going to work with how it's going to work that way, but we'll see. So, Juan de la Garza, you got a good question there. Can the speed of landing gear deployment, and retraction be adjusted? It depends on the plane. Actually, no. You could. So with FMS, not FMS, with retracts on the freewing models, for some reason they engineered in a delay on the retracts. On some of the newer blue boxes, there's a switch to eliminate that delay. So um, if you've got a free wing plane and you don't want to deal with that annoying delay, I think there's a switch you can flip on there and it gets rid of it. Um, but there's no way to change the speed of the way they retract because all it sees is an endpoint. It's like a linear actuator, so it's at a stop. You click the switch, it'll go at whatever given speed until it gets to that next stop, and then it quits. There's no way to change the speed unless you buy a retract that is for sure that is slowed down, or one where you can adjust the speed. There are some where you can adjust the speed, but those are the higher end. And yes, Snow River, that's pretty much what it is. Fair RC is the retailer, and I think that they may have even taken over what used to be um, Diamond Hobby back in the days, which became Force. I think Horizon just messed all that up because it was Diamond, and then Horizon bought it, then they turned it into Force, and then I don't know, whatever. So um, it's good. It's a good thing. That's all we need to know. Fair RC is affiliated with FMS. They're one of their retailers. They're listed on their site as one of their distributors / retailers. So as far as I know, they're the same thing. So anyway, that is that. Oof, I'm looking out my window. Sorry. So good stuff. Keep asking questions. And yeah, they are based in Florida, so they are stateside. And as far as I know, there might even be something coming up here in California, which would be cool. So then, but no, it wouldn't be cool because then it'll mess with my tax. But Florida is what it is for now. Yeah, you know what? The blue boxes are not bad. The blue boxes are actually pretty cool. Some of the early ones had issues. I had one with my MiG-21. I never used it because it would glitch, just tapping something around it. So I took that one out, but for the most part, blue boxes have been great. The main thing that they're good for is they're light controllers. So if you have LEDs, um, just plug the LEDs directly into that. You can make them flash. You can make them do whatever because they do all of that stuff. They're the right voltage, so they're cool for that. But let's see what else. Any other questions, y'all? And Fred Barron, what is up? Yeah, cool. I've still I'm debating. I almost bought the P-47. I was really close to buying the P-47 from from Fair RC, but I waited too long and it ended up going out of stock. So next time they come around, it's gonna be in my hangar. But another thing to notice too is that the all the new planes from Fair RC and FMS have a new reflex gyro built in, or something you can add to it. Um, I don't plan on using them, but I know people have, and they've had no issues once they figure it out. But it came with this plane, but I took it out because I'm putting in a lemon in this one. Um, but yeah, and yes, Fred Bear in the 1500, P-47 1500, the 6S version. That is on the plan. And I think Jeff NC, he was just here, Jeff NC 84. I didn't get to say howdy, but I see you were there. Hope you're. I know it's late over there for you. But watch this on the replay if you guys want to see how to balance that fan, because I plan on doing that. And I'll post this on your page too, so you guys can see how to balance the fan and make it sound like mine, which is buttress smooth. And you could barely hear it on film, which was good. So. Oh, that's good. So that's good to hear, Jeff in Laurel, Alabama. Um, the whole thing about gyros with me is I don't want to know it's there. I just want the gyro to smooth it out and make the plane look like it's flying better. But the thing is, there's some people that keep posting videos of these crazy configurations that they do, and the plane's wobbling all over the place. You saw this video of an F-14 that's pulling up into a climb, and as it's pulling up, it's doing this. I don't know when you've seen a real F-14 pull up, it's smooth. Same thing with all the other fighters you see. They don't do this. Gyros are supposed to get rid of that. Yes, they're supposed to help with stability and all that, but you don't want them wiggling. The gain's too high otherwise. So, anyway. Is it? Okay. Yeah, I'll deal with it. Driving slow. Was it? Did it do it when you were braking, or just all the time? Did it make any noise? Okay. I'll take a look. It smelled like brake or either. Hopefully not a bearing. That's like a bearing. I don't know. I don't know. We'll deal with it later. Anyway, sorry. Diagnosing car issues. So any other questions y'all got? Try to put a blur on if it doesn't mess up my might slow down my screen just a little bit. But yeah, so let's see what else is going on. Any other questions? Any questions coming on? And yes, Fred Barron, I've flown that plane. It flies amazing. Problem is, they set it up. They make it hard to add weight to the nose of the plane. The plane needs lots of nose weight. And if it's being such a short nose, it's hard to adjust the CG. But put more weight in there, put a big battery, add some extra weight, and the plane flies amazing. amazing. But if we don't, gonna get started on the balancing here in a little bit. So what else? Anybody got anything else? If not, then I will have to get the other camera set up. Started on the other section of the show, which is going to be a how-to, and then also a showcase of some of the new stuff. And sorry for the delay, but screen's screwing up the computer a little bit. Nate's actually flying his plane right now. It's his real plane. Otherwise, I would have asked him to join the chat, the live stream. But he's flying his actual plane. That's another thing too, guys. We're going to, for those of you in the San Francisco Bay Area or close, we're going to have an RC air show at our hold on a second, at our yeah, I got it. So there's going to be an RC air show that I'm going to be putting together for the what do they call it, for the airport day at Reed Hillview Airport in San Jose. So we're going to be, Nate will be there with me, have some other friends. We're going to be putting on an RC air show, a demo for the crowd on Saturday at about 12:15 to 12:30. We'll be flying for about 30 to 45 minutes, and we'll be trying to show all the aspects of RC that everybody loves. So the very cheap small UMX, to the foam jets, then to some gas planes, and to some helis, and then to some diesel and jet A burning turbines. So it's going to be a little bit of everything. But it's going to be a short, 45 minutes is pretty much about as long as people can stand without losing their concentration. So take a look at that website, sanjosenice.com. And if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, come by. It gives you all the info there that you need. But come by and see us. I'll be flying a couple demos of my stuff, flying a couple jets in the show, and then a couple EDF jets because that's what I fly most. And then we'll have a mix of everything: giant scale warbirds, 3D turbine, big turbine, a turbine formation flight. It's just going to be a lot of cool stuff, and there's going to be some pretty cool flyovers too, for full scale planes. It's going to be there's going to be a car show. It's kind of weird at an airport day, but there's going to be a little bit of everything, and it will be cool. The weather, thankfully, is looking like it's going to work out pretty good. So come by and take a look. Come by and say howdy. I've run into a few of my subscribers there. People that I didn't even know. They're like, "Oh yeah, I didn't know you were going to be here, but I've been subscribed to your channel for a while." So, yeah, take a look at that website. I should put it in the description too, but that's the website. If you guys didn't see it, that's it right there. Take a look. And I see somebody has a good question there. But Fred Barron, I used a 4025C in the one that I flew, and it worked great. For the way I like to fly, it worked great. I made a few for some friends. So Jeff Larna, the Vector is pretty much the exact system, just different name. But Arrows is made by FMS, and as far as I know, they do the same thing. But it's the same setup. They work almost identical. They look almost identical. It's just some different. There's all this buzzing going on. Okay, cool. So Let me send a message real quick. So let's see. So somebody had another good question. Um, so Juan had a good question. So he was saying, what's a good transmitter that won't break the bank for a beginner that wants to fly helis, props, and EDF? So, in my opinion, if you don't want to go too much, but you want to fly helis and EDFs, you can get an NX6, and that's not too bad. Um, but it's very capable, and you can do all the new stuff with the forward programming and such. There's an NX8 also, but the NX6 is pretty inexpensive, but it's still a very capable radio. Um, but the radio is actually, you want to spend the money on the radio. So in my opinion, I'd spend the money on an NX10, um, or a DX9 or an NX10. The NX10 is the one I have, and it's actually a really good radio. It has planes and helicopters already built in, so all you have to do is just select it and then bind it, and it's already there. So, Anthony Lachey, what's up? I see you. But there's several different. Look at the NX series and see which one would fit. If you want something that's going to last a while, the 6 or the 8, because most people don't need much more than 8. Um, Sometimes they don't need more than 6, but yeah. So, Anthony, that's a good question. That is a pretty much bulletproof system. The only issue with FR Sky is that it's got a pretty steep learning curve um, to learn how to program. But once you get it, it's easy. I just haven't bothered with it because of the. I just want to plug things in and fly. But you can do so much with FR Sky and OpenTX. There's a lot you can do with them. Some of the newer transmitters are pretty much just as good, if not better, than some of the high-end stuff. They're totally worth it. If you have the patience and if you have the time to learn, um, there is nothing wrong with FR Sky and OpenTX. They are bulletproof, um, better than pretty much anything out there for what they are. So take a look, try them out. Um, you won't hear me say anything bad about them, other than there's a steep learning curve. Um, so, yep. But and yeah, as the Fred Barron said, pretty much on par, on the same level I am. So it's the NX10. After having the DX9, the NX10 gimbals felt a little weird, but NX10 is a great, great radio. I would invest the money in an NX10 because it's like a DX9 but lighter and a little better. Those gimbals don't wear out like they do on the DX9. I've had to replace springs on a DX9 several times. But yeah, so yeah, look at what Fred Barron said. That's good advice. So Anthony, you'll be fine if you're an IT guy and you understand how to program computer programming and code and all that stuff. You should be fine, but you'll get it. But they're good radios. They're cheap, inexpensive. Radio Master and that stuff. And then there's one radio that looks just like the Jetty, but it's more capable than the Jetty, more reliable than the Jetty. I don't remember the name, but yeah. So FR Sky's good stuff. And yeah, Snow River said something too. That's good. RC Air Marshal gives you the pros and cons of the NX series and the IX series too, the 12 and 20. So take a look. Yeah, Jeff in Laura, Alabama's talking about the Vector. Vector is pretty much, as far as I know, Vector is Arrow's version of the FMS. It's the same thing, different name, same thing. Anyway, But yeah, there's a ton of videos on YouTube about tuning FR Sky. It just makes my head spin because I don't have the patience for that right now. But FR Sky, it's good stuff. People that I know of have used FR Sky for long range FPV without using an LRS system because it's that good. So it's definitely worth taking a look at. So what's up, Shadow? Yeah, I don't know. I think you probably got distracted. Although it hasn't been alerting me to some people going live too, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But what's up? So if we got 25 people, I'm gonna have to go look at my wife's car to figure out what the hell's going on with her wheel. If it's brake or if it's wheel bearing. Anyway. So wait a minute. So that ESC that you had was able to do 5S? That's crazy. Cool. We'll have to see. Let us know. That's cool. The little F-18 is a quick plane. I know that. The Sky Angel version was really quick. So. So yeah, and like I said, FR Sky, you never have issues with FR Sky as far as signal. They're some of the most bulletproof out there. All right, cool. So keep us tuned on that because 5S and 41 amps is not that much. That's actually pretty good. So that could be good. So if we once we slow down on the questions here, I will get set up for the fan balancing. Still have to get a couple more little pieces for the balance, but I'll show you guys everything and show you what other stuff I have out there. Yeah, and Shadow, that's what I said. It's a steep learning curve, but once you get it, you get it. And then you can transfer models, copy them, and then makes it easier. So guys, I think we're going to transition into the other part here. And get my other camera set up. It's going to take me a couple of minutes, so I'm going to shut the screen off, and then I will be right back. I shall return. Okay, I've got the other camera set up. Let me get that going. I want to add it into the stream and go to full screen. Hope you don't see my crusty toes, but I'm going to be working on a different, working from my phone. And I'll be at my little table here in the living room. Show you how the fan balancing begins. So sorry for there being no image at the moment, but there will be. Going to get some tape for the balancing. So there it is. So I'm gonna get that going here. But let's look at a couple things here first. We've got so Juan, if you're still here, I wanted to show you guys this part. So this is the fan. That's what we're gonna get balancing. I'm gonna use this and this to do that, but we will get to that in a second because I want to show off a couple other things first. So unplug that. So I don't have the stacks out, so I can't do that. But this is the 70 millimeter X-Fly, which is the same size as the E-Flight and FMS. 28 millimeter motor, but this one's 2200 kV. This is a 70 millimeter, and I did a funky little addition here. So I have, I'm gonna set this up on my servo tester. You guys got to let me know if you can hear me. I can't see the chat at the moment because I don't have my tablet down here. But I'll check out the chat in a minute. But there's the this is the new setup that I've come up with. I don't have it all totally. I need to put shrink wrap over all this stuff, so this is still exposed. But this is a test run, and one, this is going to be similar to one that I'm doing for you. These are different, slightly different colors, but they are going to be something different. So this is kind of cool. So these are the shimmering. I know there's others out there that do flickering, which is very unrealistic and flashy and kind of strange. So these do what I call shimmering. So like a flame, they'll actually shimmer a little bit instead of just being full on. So these are kind of, you know, just showy, goofy colors, but this is 2 blue LEDs and 2 red LEDs, and they're going to flicker like that. This is at idle. So when the throttle is off, you know, some people wanted to see this. I know it's not the most realistic, but some people wanted to see this. So you'll see the LEDs flickering, and actually not flickering. I call it shimmering because they don't flicker, they're shimmering. And then as you throttle up, it's going to lessen, and then another set will come on. So there's another set of LEDs here that will come on that are the same color as the actual LED. It looks like one of them's gone out. But I've got 2, yeah, one of them's gone out. I had 2 LEDs, one on each side. But what I can do is pretty much all these different configurations. So I can have it to where all these LEDs come on at the same time, which would be at half throttle and up. I'll just leave it like this. As you can see, there's this LED, and then there's a shimmering one there. But what I can do is have, when it's off like this, these LEDs can be whatever color. They could be anything, I think, clear, green, red, blue, amber, whatever, or even a soft white color. And then you can have them on at idle, or you can have them all come on starting at half throttle, so they're all on, so that when there's a full, see how that, even though this is on full, You can see that still shimmering there. So it looks more like there's flames in there. Not flickering, it's shimmering. Which looks to me looks more realistic. Because flames don't just stay on. They do have a little bit of a shimmer to them. So there's that. And then as you put it into idle and taxi around, that'll be cool. It's just something that you can see in the background there. I have this on my Futura, and it's red, and it actually looks kind of cool during the day when you turn it off. The Futura looks kind of like a spaceship anyway, so it doesn't have to be the most realistic in my opinion. So there's that, and then as you go up to full, that goes away. It's at half throttle right now. And that one's shimmering. This one went out. I think it's something to do with the wiring in there. But go to full, and that's still, you can't really see it here because this is overpowering everything. But that shimmers that way, so make it look more flame-like. And you can have every one of these LEDs do that same thing at the same time if you want. So this is kind of excessive with how many I have in here. What I plan to do is have, on the bigger ones, I'll have some, these are larger 5mm, these are the 3mm. I don't want to overcrowd it because these are pretty bright. So once they're in the thrust tube, you can actually see more. So with the bigger ones, I'll probably only do 3. And with the little ones, I'll probably only do 2. But if you want it to look a little bit more, so you can see it there, it's overpowering the camera, but you get to see the gist of what they're doing. They're more of a shimmer instead of just being a light that's steady on, or a flashing light. Flashing is very unrealistic. So a lot of people say, oh, but does it have that flicker? The real planes don't do it. The only ones that do are the older inefficient burners like the F-100 and the older MiG-17. So that is that. Juan, I hope that shows you what you need to see. But with yours are going to be all amber. So at idle, it'll be amber, shimmering, and then once you go up to full, there'll be a couple that are shimmering at full. So there you go. That's that. And this is not the color that I normally use for my. I'm just using this for test. My LEDs now are the usual yellow, but they're actually way brighter because they use a white inside. So as far as I know, I'm the only one that can get those. So that's that. So I'll get this out of the way because this thing could get easily sucked into this EDF unit when the balancing begins. So I'll put that away. And if you guys end up wanting to see the Gooniac stacks, let me know. I'm going to go check the chat here in a minute. I'm actually going to go pick up my tablet and turn that thing on so I can check the chat. But so this is something that you guys need to know for balancing, which is kind of cool. If you have an old ESC that's either unreliable or one that you don't use, you can use those to do one of two things. You can use that to help balance your fans, or you can use the BEC in this to power your servo tester, which is what I do for testing the burners that I assemble. So put it in that side, and then you can use the BEC circuit in there to power your what do you call it? What is this thing? Your servo tester. So what I'm going to do today, since this still has a BEC circuit, I don't need to power it. It is going to power it, but it's going to do it through here. This way it's going to power everything, but it's also going to go through its range. If you just plug it into this side, all it does is power. Normally I don't have this connected to it for just powering, but it's a good thing to have. So let's get that set up. I'm going to go get my tablet and then something to drink because my throat's getting all weird. So give me a second. I will be right back. Just a second, real quick second. All right, well, I gotta. Oh, there it is. It was right next to me. God, I'm a dingus sometimes. So, hopefully it's charged. And it's not. Totally dead. So much for that. So I'm gonna get this thing charged. But I'm going to I'll charge that from my computer. But let's get this balancing going so you guys can see it. I haven't set anything up yet. So I'll get to show you what it sounds like as it is without actually running it. I haven't run it up yet to test. I've just, well, I did it. You guys heard it in the plane because that's the one that I ran in the plane. So let's set that up right now so you guys can hear it. Let's get that out of the way. I don't need that. Then if I have time, I'll pull out the Gooniac stack for the all right, so I'll get the mic close. So it's as it came out of the plane, so this way you guys can hear it. Hear how when it's off the table, you can hear the air. I can feel the vibration, but when you put it on the table, you can hear the vibration. So when you have that in the plane, you're going to hear all that buzz, and you're going to actually feel it in your hand when you're doing that. So, there's one thing I forgot, so I got to go get that, but I can do that with me on the mic. So, what we need to do is get a marker and get our reference point, and then work our way around. So, a lot of times we get lucky with this, and we're able to get this to work just by clocking the the hell? Just by clocking the spinner, which means going around to all the spots on the spinner. I'll show you. So the clocking is basically this. This is a 12 blade, so you just use it like a clock. There's 12 points. So the easiest way to do it, 12 points all the way around, and then you have all those spaces in between. 12 are the easiest to go to, but once you figure out where it sounds the best, you're able to fine tune it even more by taking little increments in between. What I'll do, especially after I find that spot, is make sure to move things around a little bit to fine tune it. But the main thing that you need to do with this fan when you first get it is make sure that this screw is tight, because with mine it was not. See, that's pretty loose, and there was no Loctite on there either. So I'll pull this thing apart so you can see. It's important to do this because this little screw is what holds this whole thing together. So let's make the mark first just to be safe. So mark one blade this way. May not be able to see this in the light we have right here, but you can see. Yeah, you can see it. I use blue for this reason, because it allows you to see it shows up on black. So that way you can see it. So two things you can do with a fan like this that sometimes helps quite a bit. So number one, this little spinner is all that holds this thing on. So the spinner is actually, I can't even get my finger in this thing, so small. The spinner is actually what holds this on, and that little screw is what holds the spinner down onto this. Now, if there is a way for me to pop this thing off, since this thing is buzzing, this is keyed underneath. sometimes you can pull the rotor off, turn it 180 degrees, and then put it back on that key, and it will actually help the bounce quite a bit. So let's do that. You heard what it sounded like already. So come on. Just gonna pull the whole thing apart so you can see. So see, there's a key under there. It was like that. We're gonna turn it 180 degrees. Turn it to there. Make sure it keys, and then we're going to put that back. But it's this way you guys can see that the only thing holding this thing together is this screw and the spinner. But the screw is what holds the spinner in place, so it's really just the screw doing this. So that lined up. So we heard what it sounded like before I flipped it 180. You don't want to, tighten it down crazy tight, but you do want it to be tight, okay? So now let's see what it sounds like. Ooh, it sounds worse. You hear all that? You don't hear it when it's here, but you hear it there. That sounds terrible. And you got to remember that at high RPMs, that can just tear this whole thing apart. And you can see in there it's been rubbing. So we don't want that rub. A fan that's out of balance will actually rob you of amps, and it could just literally blow apart at any time. So the best thing to do is take this little bit of extra time and balance the fan. Okay, so now I flipped it back to 180 where I started. The marks are there. That's my beginning reference. And we're going to go from there. Now, normally I'll have some weights, and the weights for this will actually be little pieces of electrical tape cut up. But I'm going to do the clocking first and see if I'm able to do that. Sometimes you get lucky and all you need to do is clock. With the one that I balanced for the F-16, all it took was a square and a divot to get it right. So that still doesn't sound good, but it sounds better than it did. So let's go through the clocking. Loosen the spinner. Put it around blade to blade. And if I find one that sounds okay, I'll make a little mark. Still bad. Usually the funny thing too is you start here. By the time you get here, you start hearing a difference. Although sometimes it just takes a couple in. And what's the worst is if you start here, go all the way around, and then to find out that these 3 ones here are the ones that are better. Best thing to do is to always start and continue with your rotation, because if you start hopping around, you're going to forget where you were. Best thing to do, start one at a time, move it all around. This is a small spinner, so there's no way to move, tape all these different places. It's just one spot pretty much. So, all right, so we're on the second blade now. Still no good. On. And again, I think you can see that on the camera. I can't totally see. I'll have to check my chat another way though, because my tablet is totally dead. Can't use it. I should have charged that before I did any of this. Tablet's been off the charge for probably about a week, if not more. Well, it's still not good, but don't start bouncing around. Stick to the program. It seems like it's annoying. I want to hop around and want to hear something right away, but no. It's getting worse, which means it's probably going to start getting better. So like I said, usually when you get about 180 degrees from where you started, you start noticing a difference. So Still buzzy. Let's keep on going. And you know, we may not hear a difference at all, which means that we just need to use weight. Now, some people will balance the rotor on a little, you know, the same sort of prop balancer thing. You can do that. But well, from what I've noticed, it's just an extra step. It doesn't really make anything better. It's just an extra step. Just balancing stuff from the spinner has worked the best for me. So unless it's really, really bad, which is rare, it's hard. You know, you really don't need to do the whole balance the rotor, then balance the spinner, then put the two together, then balance. It's just a lot of extra work. And I'm all about simplicity. So this is funny. Just like I said, as soon as you get to the last three, it's probably going to start sounding better. And it did. So I'm going to make one mark on that one because that started sounding better. Doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. Just you want to hear a difference. If it starts to sound better and feel better, it's better to start there before you add weight. That's not better. That's worse. So we're getting back to where we started. So let's don't stop and start bouncing around as finish. Go all the way to the end. It doesn't sound that much better, but it feels better. So I'm going to make a mark there too. I can feel the vibration, and you will too when you do this. It just takes a couple times, and you'll figure out what is considered good or bad just by a couple times of doing this. You'll figure it out. This is an outrunner too, so you hold that motor, and then you can spin these things. Not. All right, so I've got two spots that I liked, so I'm going to go back to those. Back to that one. Nope. Let's go to the other one. I think that it's this first one that I did. Sounds the best. You know, to be honest, they don't really sound all that much different. So let's go back to the first one. Just here. Tighten this thing down. Yeah, they all sound the same. So there's really no point in doing anything else as far as, you know, trying to figure out which one of these sounds better or worse. They all sound about the same. So since this is the blade you're going to stick with, cover it in ink just so that you know that's always your reference and start point. And then let's make that mark there. So that's where we start. So this is going to stay here. I'm not going to move the spinner anymore. What we're going to do now is add weight in all these different spots to see if we can get the vibration to go away. And we can. It just takes time. Sometimes it goes really quick. Other times it takes a long time. So another thing to remember, you can't see it, but best thing to do, even with these little small 50mm fans, protect yourself. Make sure that you've got the stuff in front clear. These things are stronger than you think. They can suck stuff like this in, especially pens, little bits of tape, cords, stuff like that. So make sure to keep things clear and out of the way. This intake is a lot stronger than you think. And the best thing to do is unplug it every time. I'm not doing that here because it's just too much to move around. But let me show you how I do the balancing part of this. And it's the easiest way to do this is with high quality electrical tape. And I'm using the Scotch 3M type of electrical tape. This is what the electricians use. The best of the best electricians will use this. They're not going to use the cheapy Harbor Freight stuff. Use the good stuff. Harbor Freight stuff has really bad glue and does not stick nearly as good as this. So, and then I'll also show you the step for me cleaning too, because I use alcohol to do that. So, I make little strips. It's not scientific, but I make little strips about the same. About like that. Cut them in half. And then if I want to get really in depth, I'll cut this in half even more. That's what I did with the one that I balanced already from F-16. I balance using one of these with a half of one. So let's just start with what I usually do on the bigger EDFs. I'll start with two of these things layered together. And then if I notice that it's making a lot more noise than I'd like for it to, then I take one of them off. So let's yep. So what we're going to do first is add two together. I'm going to, just start on what I usually do is I'll start right here on this first line that I've made. As you can see, this is a small spinner, so there's no way to adjust it on the spinner. It's only going to be one place. So make sure everything's clear, get everything out of the way. Let's push it down. Now you don't need to run it up high, because if you run it up high, the centrifugal force will flick this thing off and it could smack you in the face or just go somewhere and you don't know where it is. So just run it a little above idle. It actually already sounds better. Already sounds better. So this is not the phase where you start adding weight, but I could add a little bit more weight and see if that actually helps, or if it just needed one. But I'm going to move it because I don't want to start getting too far ahead. So I did that one, so now I'm going to move to the second blade and see if I notice any difference. If it gets worse, then I'll go back. It's actually getting better. So let's move over one more. Okay. Wow, it's really getting good. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving because it's getting better and better. So I'm going to move one more over. So since that was a good spot, we're going to mark. Normally what I'll do too, I'll go through with alcohol and clear off all these other spots. But I didn't do that here, which is a step I should have done. But I'll clear those spots off just so you don't get confused. But it started sounding better, so I made a spot there. Yep, it's getting better. Less vibration, so it's another good spot. Did I put the wrong one? I think no, I was supposed to do this one. Okay, so that one. All right, so let's move to another one. So I've already found a couple good spots. So, and then once you find that once you get to all the good ones, then you narrow down from the ones you found. See, now it's getting worse. Okay, so what we could do, we've still got a few more to go. I'm just going to go around more. I have the good ones marked. I know that they're not on the back side, they're on the front side. Yeah, it's getting worse. Okay, so we'll keep going just so you can hear. They are getting worse. It is sounding worse. Yeah, way worse. Okay, so we kind of know that we're going the wrong direction, but it's always best to eliminate all of the spots first before we stick to the good ones. Yeah, still bad. And again, it doesn't take much running up to do that. Okay, so keep on going. Ugh, terrible. Okay, so we've got those 3 good spots. We've got 2 left before we get to our main reference. Terrible. Bleh. And you will get to a point when you're doing this where you will hear perfection. So I know there's 2 spots. I was using 2 pieces here. So let's put those 2 aside, put those 2 over there, and let's use 1. Because like I said before, the one that I balanced and used in my actual F-16 that I'm flying only needed 1.5 of these. Let's go to those marks and listen to them all. So this spot to begin with. Sounds really good. It's getting better. So let's try all those spots that I marked. This one. So, okay. Ooh, yeah. Way better. Okay. It might still be noisy on the table, but the vibration in the hand is way less. There's still a little buzz, but it's way less. That is damn near perfect. Okay, so we're getting better and better. So I know that those few 3 that I marked are the good spots. So we can either, what I'm going to do is most likely what I did on the one I have, add a half. So yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So those 3 spots, 4 spots actually, sound pretty good. So let's take, well, let's do this. So I used the 1 on that 3rd one. The 3rd one sounded the best. So I used the 1. So this is the one I used before, which was 2 together. Let's put that there. That's almost perfect. So I'm going to add 1 to it. See if we're going in the right direction with that. And we're not. So it started getting louder. Take that one off. And then I'll take this off and I'll cut some off of it. So actually, let's do this. I'll take one here. I'm going to add a half, 1/2 to that. Let's see how that works. This one, you know, I could just cut what's there, but I want to be able to have ways to reference back. So I'm just going to cut half because I remember this is what worked on the one that I did originally. Oops, sorry for bumping the camera. Let's put the half right there. Let's see. That's pretty much it. So let's take this weight, move it a couple places. I'm not going right along with the blade. I'm moving a little further off to one side. But that's the wrong way because it's already started getting worse. So now I'm going to start going in between the blades to see if it gets any better. So instead of being right in line with the blade, I'll be a little off. That's almost it. Let's go back a little bit more. It's getting better. So go back in between a little bit more. Not hearing a huge difference yet, so that means I could probably add just a little bit more weight. Oh, that's getting worse. Okay, so we're gonna go back to right about here. That's almost perfect. So just go here. And actually, what you have to do sometimes is put the tape in more than one spot. So that's pretty much perfect. So I've gone all the places that I saw wouldn't work. So now what we're going to do, this will be number 1. And we're going to mark that, this spot right here. I'm going to take the tape off and put it on the inside. So this is your main reference point right here. That's why we make this one blade so dark. That's the line. And then that's where we put the tape on the inside. So again, you should be unplugging for all these steps. I'm not, just because of it taking up so much time. So I'm just going to do this. We already have our line. We have it marked. Pull that out. Now another thing you need to do is there's sometimes mold release in here. As you go through and you'll clean that off with alcohol, just to make sure that it is ready to accept the tape. So see, I had the mark. I'll put 1. Sorry, put 1 there. Line it up. Inside. Sure it's all the way in so it won't get in the way of the spinner. And sometimes that will require you getting the screwdriver. I'm going to do this off camera, but it'll require you getting the screwdriver and pushing it in there. Do this off the cam. Can't. Do it all without. Have to get a flathead screwdriver to push that in there. But get that in there, and then we might have to move around to another spot. We'll leave that one spot there. Just like a tire, when you balance a tire, you don't put weights in one spot. You usually put it in several. So we're going to do that here. Push that in all the way. Go. Again, we normally use alcohol to clean it. Put that there. Then there. That screw. Put that back. See what it sounds like. And a lot of times I'll go through and I don't do that. I will try to fine tune it a little bit, but we're not quite there yet because we still have to put another weight in there. Sometimes I'll move a couple degrees here and there, try and make it fine tune it when I found the perfect spot. So I haven't quite found the perfect spot yet, but so let's move that a little bit. One way. Oh, it wasn't tight. That should be better now. So it's better than it was, but it's not perfect yet. So we're going to keep on going with weight. So I'm going to make another single. All weight. Let's get more than one. All right, so we're going to start. Usually I can start anywhere, but I'll start. Let's do this the right way. You start on the spot that I started, because sometimes it does that. A little bit better, not quite, so we're going to move over a little bit more. One over. Ooh, that's better. One more over. And guys, I think that's pretty much it. Gonna move a little bit more one way. About halfway in between. Oh, too much. Let's go back halfway the other way. As you can see, we have found perfection. So with this type of fan, the motor is always going to make some noise unless it's been balanced. So you'll hear motor noise, but you won't hear vibration. So on this, since I've got that where it needs to be, you could fine tune it just a little bit more. I'll try to move it a little bit more one way. See if that gets any better or worse. Let's see if we cut this in half, if it's even better. That was, and this is when it gets weird for my big hands, but there. Sheesh. All right, so I'll put this on the end of a screwdriver. Put that right there. Sounds like it might be the one that's better, but we'll move it a little bit more and see. This is the fine-tuning perfectionist side of me coming out, because for most people that would be considered pretty damn good already. Yeah, that's motor noise now. You're just hearing motor noise. So let's back. I haven't checked on the chat, guys, and if you've been blowing up the chat, I'm sorry I haven't seen it, but I will get back to it. Let's go to this right there in the middle. Okay, so we got to go back the other way. Let's go back this way. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna go one more over just for perfectionist's sake to make sure that I'm going the right way. It's already worse, so we're going to go back. Go back to right. That's it. So there you go. So now we've got that mark. This is number 2. It's going to be hard to put 2 on there. 2. Mark there. There. Pop that off. Set it aside. Mark 2. But see how they're pretty close to each other? Right next to each other. Sometimes that's all it takes. And you get it perfectly balanced. So let's get that over to number 2. Get that off. Put it on the number 2 side. Again, we're just putting it on the inside of the spinner. Probably going to have to fine tune this by turning it just a little bit because of where it is. I have to use the flathead to really get this thing in there. Oh, we've got it in there, so there's those 2 pieces. They're where they belong. And the good thing is centrifugal force will hold them in place. So, don't need to worry about it. But you should always clean it out with alcohol to make sure that all the mold release has been removed so that it will for sure stick. And I have to line that up. It's not lined up. Right there. You can hold the motor to tighten it. Don't over tighten, but make sure it's snug. Okay, so pretty damn close. So now we're going to do a little bit of fine tuning by moving the rotor just a little bit left and right till we get it perfect, because sometimes it's a little bit off once we get it put on the inside of the spinner. The wrong way, so let's go the other way. But that's pretty much how this is done. There we go. That's it. So now that we've got it perfectly marked, perfectly balanced, you can hear it. It sounds different. So instead of you hearing this little buzz or something that's off, so see, now when I touch the table, all you're hearing is motor noise. So there you go. It takes a little bit of time, but the results speak for themselves when you get it. So there you go. So if you want to know why you should balance it, that's why, because then all you hear is air and motor noise. See, so all it is motor noise now. So it's actually more of a whoosh sound instead of bzzz when it spins up. You will hear motor noise, but that's about it. All right, so there you go. That's it. I don't know how long that took me. It might have taken me a little longer because I was describing what I was doing, but there you go. So that's it. That was only basically 2 of these pieces of tape, but 1.5 in one spot and half on another. So it's easy. There's not a whole bunch of, you don't have to get something on your phone or you don't have to go balance the rotor or do all these other things. It's just a matter of feel and sound. So I've compared the way that I balance mine to people who've actually spent a lot of money using a digital type, and mine sound just as good, if not better, because I'm able to feel it more than just see it on the on some display. So I could even go further and try to use another piece of tape, but I think that's good enough for what we're doing right now. And hopefully that does show you guys how to do this. It's easy, it's not hard. You could even use your plane instead of the table. Just take this and tap it on the plane, and you'll hear if there's any resonance or noise. You will hear motor noise. You can't get away from the motor noise. That's always going to be there. But the vibration will be gone. You don't feel any buzzing anymore in my hand. There's no buzzing. It's just that little bit of vibration from this. This is a low quality motor. Not, I wouldn't say low quality, a low dollar mass produced motor. So they didn't go through and actually balance this. But if they balance the motor, you wouldn't even hear the sound there. So my phone just freaked out and said that its battery's dying. So I'm gonna have to quit because I'm using the phone as my camera for here. So let's get out of here and go back to my other camera setup. You'll still hear me talking, but it's going to go to my other camera setup. I wasn't charging, no wonder. Okay, but anyway, that's it. Now you can see. That's what it takes to balance those fans. It's not that hard. Once you get good at it, you can do them even faster than what I just did. Doesn't have to take that long. It can go pretty quick. Pretty easy to get the hang of it and work it out. But it's one of those things where it just takes a little bit. That that's just one. Once you get one done, everything gets easier from there. And the next thing you know, every single fan you hear, you'll want to balance because you hear how it's buzzing and it doesn't sound right and you want it to be better. I've had amps drop as much as 10 amps by doing a fan balance. So give me a second, guys. So anyway, I see most people are gone. I mean, I know there's a lot of people on the East Coast, which is good. But what's up, Big Chris? So hopefully you guys are able to get something out of that, and I need to make this where people can, where people can go back and look. But I need to go back and check the chat. It said I had 69 chats. Sheesh. So I need to check and make sure I can see what everybody said. All right, so let me start there. But yeah, it's not that hard to do. Just takes time. And once you take that little bit of extra time, you'll have fans that sound better than anybody's on your where you fly, and they will ask you how you did it, and then you can do the same thing I did and show them how. Not hard to do. What's up, Tim Juice? Since I see you now. And yeah, Tim, I'm gonna fix the wife's car. Don't worry. I've already done some work on hers. It needs an oil change. I need to check and make sure that it's the rear brakes. The dealership tried to get me to change the brakes over a year ago, and they weren't ready to be changed yet. But so I have those already. But anyway, let's go back and look. Check and make sure. Checked up on everything. But if anybody has any questions, you guys can ask. What's up, Litz? What's up, EQ? Guys, Litz and EQ, I've got your stuff sent out to you. You should have it sometime soon. And Snow River, no, I have not tried the X-Fly in anything yet. I actually have one right here that I will be trying soon. Oops, it won't show it unless it's in front of my face. That I will be trying soon. Let me turn this thing off. There's nobody behind me. turn off this background because what happens if I do this? Not gonna work. Let's just turn that off. So anyway, I haven't tried it yet. I will. This is the spare one I have. I have to put connectors on it, but I could try that in the F-16, but it might require a slightly larger ESC, which I don't want to do. Wild Bill, what is up, my friend? JCB, what's happening? So I hope that's enough. And Snow River, yes, it is easier with a 90. The bigger they get, you actually can fine tune them more, because when it's a bigger spinner, you can move the tape in more areas, and it actually gets better. So yeah, but see what else. So what's up, Angelo? Glad you're there. Big Chris, I said, Big Chris, I need to get a hold of you too, because we got to figure out how to ship that thing out to you. My Magic label is no longer available. Slapnuts, glad you could hear it. Does sound better, and it's you can do that with lots of fans to make them sound better. You don't think about it until after you've balanced the fan. You realize, oh wow, that fan's buzzing more than I thought it would. You just get used to it. So like Anthony said here, it sounds nice. It is hard to hear, but it's easier on the plane. It's easier on the motor. It's easier on the batteries. It sounds way better. People will be blown away. They'll see something that goes zipping by and barely hear it. I think that's the coolest thing ever. You see something go by at over 100 miles an hour, but you can barely hear it as it goes. You just hear the air rushing over it. Oops, sorry for that. That's what I prefer. And that's what I think is cool about EDFs as opposed to Barry Campbell. What's up? That's what I think is cool about EDFs instead of a turbine where you hear that roar as it goes by. I think it's cool to hear something just make a little bit of a noise as it goes by, and it screams as it goes past you in speed, but not in sound. Angelo, so let's just get this out there. I've been monitoring the weather pretty much every day, and over the last 2 days, the temperature forecast has dropped by 7 degrees. So, if all goes well, which I'm hoping for, it should be under 90 degrees, which means that for the time of our air show, the air should be bearable. It's supposed to be a little bit of a breeze, which won't bother us. But yeah, it's going to be less than what they were saying. Anytime that they try to set us up for getting ready for a heat wave, it usually fizzles. What happens is a heat wave catches us off guard. Um, Anytime they try to set you up for one, by the time it gets to that point, and that's kind of what's happening now. I'm hoping it still goes that way, but as of right now, doesn't look like much of anything. And I'm going to have everything we need. I'm going to have 3 tents of my own. And then we're going to have spray bottles and water bottles, lots of drinking water bottles and everything. So it's not going to be that bad. Definitely not like it is where you are, Angelo. So yeah, you're going to notice a drop in amps, but a bump in performance because your RPMs will go up, your voltage drop will go down. There'll be less of a drop because there's less amperage. But yeah. There will be a difference. It's minor, but on a small jet like this, it's a big difference. Paul, it just takes time. Um, Once you get it, then something clicks, and you won't forget it, and it just gets easier and easier from there. All right, so GWS. That was one of the first EDFs, the GWS. That's a very weak airframe, so I would recommend going for a low power 3S setup in that, just because it's not the strongest airframe unless you plan on doing some fiberglassing or something of the sort. Other than that, you could use like an X-Fly one of the 64 millimeter X-Fly fans or the 64 millimeter QX motor setup. But X-Fly works good on the 64 side. Thank you for the kind words, Mr. Jeff and Laura, Alabama. Hope I didn't keep you guys up too late. But I did want to do this mainly for a couple people that have been asking, because I was giving RC Plane Reviewer a hard time saying that thing's buzzy as hell, blah, 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 whatever. But it was buzzy. And when I flew mine didn't make that much noise. So I do want to help people. That's the most important thing. I want you to want to show you how to make the plane better. And that's basically what what this whole show is about. It's not about anything more than me trying to share my knowledge with you guys to try to figure this stuff out. So if it's going to be that hot up there where you are, hopefully you can make it out here to where we are and chill out with us for the day, because it should be fun and it shouldn't be too hot. And I've got everything we need to keep it from being too hot, Angelo. So I'm going to go get a couple more pop-ups, and then I'm going to try to find some spray bottles. I need to look at Harbor Freight so I can have some spray bottles, and we'll have water. I'm going to get a crap ton of water bottles for people to have to drink, and I'm going to broadcast that throughout the whole site. Our little show is actually kind of cool because it's going to be like an air show, because we're going to have all the speakers on the front row, we'll have music, we'll be able to announce what we're doing, and it'll be reasonably close to the crowd so they can see without being dangerously close, but it'll be reasonably close. I'm going to try to throw some humor in there too. Nate and I are going to do some of our shenanigans. Hopefully that'll get the crowd pumped and excited and people think it's funny, but we'll try to do some stuff like that. I got to figure out everything I'm going to fly. A couple people that were going to come aren't going to come, so that just means I have to fill in a little bit more, which is great, but it's going to be very cool. Wreck-'em Roy, the show is at let me see if this is still there. Yes, it is. So take a look at that link I just posted in the chat. That is where it is. It's at Reed Hillview Airport in San Jose. It's an airport day. This is basically us working together with the airport to try and get the community involved and show them that RC is like a stepping stone into full-scale aviation. And a couple of our pilots are RC pilots, are actual full-scale pilots. They fly. One is just retired from Southwest, the other still flies for Southwest, but they fly RC too, and RC is kind of where they started. Nate is a recently licensed private pilot, so he's been flying RC for a long time, but now he's actually a pilot, a licensed pilot at 17, and will be pursuing a career in aviation. So this is RC aviation is a stepping stone into other things, or it's just fun and stress relief. For me, it's just stress relief and fun. And I have a little side business with the afterburner stuff, so it's just fun, but it's still technical. It is not an easy thing to do. It takes time to learn, but it's lots of fun. And the main thing is we work with the airport and do things safely. We don't just show up to an airport and start flying. We have to get the proper permission to do it. They're shutting down the airport for 2 hours for us to do our things, but they're going to have full-scale flyovers. They're going to have 12 planes doing formation passes. Some of them will come back to the field, and others will go away. But then there will also be flyovers with other stuff, so it'll be cool. Some cool planes to look at. Nate's favorite plane, the Cirrus, will be there, and it's just gonna be fun. So anybody's in the local San Francisco Bay Area, come out and see it. It's always fun. It is going to be a little warm. See if the forecast has changed at all, because it had been getting better and better and better. To drop 7 degrees since I started looking at it. So let's see if it's gotten any better today. Well, it's dropped down to 7, so And from what I've seen where we live, yeah, see, so on Friday it's actually saying it's going to be pretty cool, which means that could actually move into the next day. So, um, yeah, that's a good thing. So it's going to be bearable. Um, but I can't stream. I was going to try to stream there, but my data's been cut since I use YouTube for music. I've already gotten to 20 gigs, so now they've cut my service speed down. Oh, by the way, Nate, this is a Planes of Fame shirt. But we'll see. Should be fun. Um, it's always fun, and the main thing is just to enjoy ourselves and have fun. And then the crowd likes to see it too. People get excited over just a roll, which is fine. But I'll have the rocket plane out there. I'll have some of my little speed demons out there to wow the crowd. F-35 will get some workout. We'll get a workout this weekend. Um, Probably the new F-16 too, and we'll have some fun. But from what I'm seeing on the four, yeah, everything's gone down. I was seeing 101 at one point for Monday and Tuesday, but now they're down to 97 and 94. Um, Saturday was at one point 97. It's now down to 90. And then Friday was supposed to be 88, but now it's showing 84. So let's just see. It's the air seems cooler. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, that is it. Hope you guys got something out of what I showed with the balancing stuff. I will have this thing together soon. Maybe I'll showcase that on the next show. I'll have the Gooniac stacks on that. So yeah, that is going to be it. I'm going to have lots more videos going up. I have a lot of videos that just haven't been published yet, but I'll have a lot more videos that are published, and then we will go from there. So I'm going to be busy the next couple days with air show preparations and such. So thank you guys for being here. And as I said, Mr. Litz RC and Mr. EQ, your stuff is on the way. Thanks for watching. I'll let the chat go for a little bit longer as we get ready to go, but I'm signing off. See y'all later, and have a good night, everybody.